going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and hope you're well midweek. And I did say we were going to start going live at 4 o'clock rather than 2 o'clock because I know there is a Euros game at 2 o'clock, but I'm going live just after 4:30 today to do the England watch along. So make sure you come back for that watch along around just after 5:30, close to 20 to 5. So that's a 5 o'clock kickoff today. England against Denmark. Make sure you join me for that one. So today we'll do it at 2 o'clock. We'll discuss the latings going on. And I know Slovenia against Serbia is on now. So Benjamin Sesko is up front for Slovenia. And Dusan Vlahovic is up front for Serbia. So two players that have been linked to Arsenal over the past. Late because you got the shape up. Yeah, I mean, sun's out and I had to clean up a little bit. But big up everyone. I hope you're well. Hope everyone is well. And you know what? Part of me misses Arsenal, but part of me is like enjoying the fact that there is no game, if you know what I mean. Like, no Arsenal game. I feel a lot less stressed when Arsenal are not playing. Yeah, man, we're doing the watch along tonight. Don't you worry about that. 4:30, 4:40 will be live. 5 o'clock kickoff. Yeah, we're here, people. We're here, you know. Hey, listen, they not like us. Did you guys see what Kendrick did yesterday? Man did a show in LA, I believe. Don't quote me. I believe it's the first show he's done since the diss track. I'm not sure. But the DJ pulled it up 5 times. The crowd was going crazy. I think it was Roddy Ricch and Kendrick, man. Boy, do you know what? I can't wait to go LA next month for the tour and go out and listen to that song. That is a real West Coast banger. I can't lie. But yeah, man, I am enjoying. It got wheeled about 5 times apparently. I am enjoying no Arsenal games because it just takes a lot out of you, don't it? If you win the league, it's all worth it. When you don't win the league, it feels very painful. It would almost be easier. And don't take this the wrong way. It would almost be easier to finish 4th than finish 2nd and get so close to winning it. It's, you know, Aston Villa finished 4th. They're buzzing. We finished 2nd. I was gutted, but hey, it is what it is. That show was insane. Big C, everyone from the West Coast showed up. Russell Westbrook was crippled. Oh, it's crazy. I would have loved to have been at that show. Dre was there as well. Oh, my days. Hip-hop, man, it's fine. It's probably strike a chord and it's probably A minor. Yo, listen, I need to go to one of them concerts. Don said, Curtis, Arsenal dictate my mood, but my mood's been stable now. You know what? I honestly think as an Arsenal fan or any football fan, you've got to find a way to get out of letting them spoil your mood. I get very animated during the games, but I can switch off after the games, you know. Anyway, let's see what everyone is saying and let's get into the latest news. Alexander says, big up Curtis, finally catching you live. Been busy recently, got married last Sunday. Hey, good luck, bro. Good luck. Hope everything works out. You should be on your honeymoon. But I appreciate you tuning in, bro. And listen, we're chilling right now. It's laid back settings, summertime. We want to see transfers. So big up, man. Congrats on your wedding. Guna Carlos, these soft links, let's be real, we aren't signing Neto or Onana. Either mean we'll have a sneaky good window or only sign 1 or 2 established guys. And I always say, listen, I'm not one of these channels. I don't want to overhype people. I really don't. When we're linked to players, we discuss the link. I say how good that news outlet is. I give you my opinion whether I think we'll get them. And what I don't want to do is, you know, overhype people to think we're signing players that we may not sign. We may not sign any of them. We may sign them. We'll discuss it today. Arsenal over the last few years have been very sneaky. You know, they've announced players. Kivior came out of nowhere. Fabio Vieira came out of nowhere. Havertz came out of nowhere. Nobody expected Havertz to join Arsenal. When them links came out, I was like, I don't know about that one, you know. And then it all happened. Alexander said, honeymoon's booked for September. Big up, bro. Hope you have a great trip. And I was on the AFTV show yesterday talking transfers. And it's funny, I mentioned Neto on there. And then later on that evening, a story breaks about Neto. So we're going to talk about him. And also, big up to Joba, who said, big up Big C, got engaged last Saturday. Big up yourself, man. Yeah, there's some people in the chat who are not very positive about marriage. But Salman said, marriage doesn't have to be bad or a curse. It's how you decide to make it and live it. I'm loving mine. I suppose it depends on who you're marrying, I suppose. Marriage can be great if you marry the right person. Marry the wrong person, you're going to wish you had that prenup, you know. Don Arsenal, of course, RIP Super Kev, always. Always, man. Always. It's the players, Curtis. It's the players. And listen, plans are in place to do something about Kevin, and we want to do something to remember him. I'm making phone calls, sending emails, so don't think I've gone quiet or forgotten that. We're definitely going to do something in Kev's memory. And I did speak to somebody who is close to Kev and his family, and when I discussed it and said, look, you know, maybe we can raise some money, the conversation I had with that person was, look, don't worry about money. You know, it's not really about money. You know, finances would be in place to make sure that, you know, those things are sorted. But we want to do something that maybe we can, you know, celebrate his memory and do something else. Everton have put a massive banner up outside their stadium for Kevin Campbell, which is brilliant. Arsenal, I was down at the Emirates yesterday. At the front of the club shop, they had a little something up saying Super Kevin Campbell. So the clubs are showing their love for him, but I want to do something a little bit more long-lasting, really, in terms of that will remember his memory. So I'm talking to people. I've got some ideas. So, and anyone else got any ideas? Obviously, feel free to put them in the chat, or if you're watching on replay, again, feel free to put them in. So no, I don't want people to think that I've forgotten. More merch? No, not at the moment. Maybe though. They got some nice training kit out, but I'm in my emotional stage at the moment with Arsenal, where I'm angry with them because we didn't win the league and we haven't signed anyone. Something needs to happen to settle it, you know. 93-94 Cup Winners' Cup was my first season as an Arsenal fan. Kev was integral to that, of course. I showed some highlights the other day of some of his best goals, and there were people messaging saying, I've seen Kev on the show so many times and never really seen him play for Arsenal. So I thought, you know, it was great. We need a full hour show dedicated to Kev, 100%. You know what? I was thinking if I could do that tonight. I'm doing the watch along later, but it's a 5 o'clock kickoff. Could I do that tonight? The game would... There's a big game on after, isn't there? Well, we'll definitely do it. What game is on at 8? Is it Spain? Oh, Spain, Italy. That's a big game. Maybe we could do it after. If not, we'll do it later on in the week. We definitely got to do a show. Definitely. But I'm just thinking, could we squeeze... All right, we'll talk later on. If not, maybe not rush it. Maybe we do it in a few days and then get it out there a little bit more. Anyway, let's talk transfers. Let's talk about players that we're probably not going to sign, but let's consider, you know, whether we will sign them, just in case we do. Let's talk about man like Pedro Neto. As I said, I went on talking transfers yesterday. I hope some of you guys saw that on AFTV. And this was one of the players that I actually said, I think Arsenal should go back in for him. It's funny, later on that evening, a story comes out that we're in for him. How true this is, I don't know. Now, it's crazy because his injury record is bad over the last 2.5 years. I'm just looking. Last season, he played 20 games for Wolves. So he missed 18. The 2 previous seasons was the crossover of the knee injury. So he only played 13 and 18. So in the last 3 seasons, he's played about a season and a half's worth of football. The 2 years before that, he played 29 and 31 games. He's 24 years of age. Boyhood Arsenal fan. Says that Thierry Henry is his idol. But it's crazy. He's such a good player. Let's talk about the source. Arsenal could choose to revive their interest in Pedro Neto. Give Me Sport sources have revealed there is a belief among Wolves insiders that a deal could be struck in the coming weeks, with Neto pinpointed as their expected big money departure of the summer. That is by Dean Jones Soccer. Now, Give Me Sport is a flimsy source of information. I'm going to be real. This is definitely not tier 1. Like, yeah, this is Saka source level. You know what I mean? In Nando's. But they get some right. But listen, it's a bad source. You look at the wording as well. It's very weak. Look at the wording. He said Arsenal could choose to revive their interest in Neto. I could say that. You know, there's no source of information there. It's basically not source. You know, it really is. Give me sports sources have revealed. I mean, listen, the second bit may be right. We saw Wolves sell multiple players last season. So maybe they are having financial difficulty. They sold, Matinho, Neves, Nunes went to Man City, Adama Traore left. They got rid of loads of players last summer. So maybe they are looking at Neto as the player that they sell this summer to balance the books. I don't know. What I will say, I think he's a fantastic player. I do. And listen, the injury record is a little bit scary. As I said yesterday, if you sign him, you don't need him to play every week. You've got Martinelli, you've got Trossard, you've got Saka. Imagine having 4 wingers. Martinelli and Trossard on the left, Neto and Saka on the right. I mean, that is strength in depth and quality as well. What I like so much about Neto, he's very different to Saka. He's very direct. However, the injury record is scary a little bit as well. The best ability is availability. But I'm looking at it. 20 games last season. If he played 20 games at Arsenal, I think that's enough. Because Saka's going to play the rest. You hope Martinelli has a great season. Neto's only got 2 years left on his contract. Apparently, no talks about renewing. And Neto would like to move on to a club playing in Europe. So, listen, this is where I'm at with Neto. In fact, I think this is worth a poll. First poll of the day. I want to know, despite the injury record, would you guys take a chance? Now, where I'm at with this, it would depend on the price because of the injuries. I think 2 years ago, I would have paid big money for him because I looked at him as one of the best up-and-coming wingers in the league. I'm now looking at him and going, you are still one of the best, but the injury record for me means you've got to reduce the price. If you can get him out of Wolves for 40-odd million or something like that, I would do the deal. If they want top dollar for him, 70 million or something like that, I think we could possibly look elsewhere. Would you sign Pedro Neto for Arsenal? As I said, for me, it would depend on the price. Because I think he's a brilliant player. And he's so direct. He can dribble past players. He can score goals. He's an Arsenal fan. Whether that matters or not, not really. But I just think he's a great option. Listen, I like Elise. But it doesn't look like we're going to get Elise. Elise is probably going to go to Chelsea. Because he can go there and play a lot more football, probably, than Arsenal. And then you've got Mohamed Kudus. We spoke about that yesterday on the Talking Transfers. Rumours that there's a release clause of around 70 or 80 million this summer to a Champions League club. I just think Arsenal could have signed Kudus last summer for probably 35 to 40 million. They didn't sign him. Are they then going to go back a year later and pay double the amount of money for a player they could have signed a year ago for half that price? So I'm not sure. Listen, I would take him. Mohamed Kudus, Elise, Neto, those guys really are the ones that you're looking at going, they would be ideal. As I'm not necessarily looking for a player that is nowhere near Saka's level. I actually want Arsenal to sign a player that puts pressure on Saka. We were speaking about it yesterday, and Robbie was saying, we don't want to get somebody too close to him in terms of ability because it might destabilise Saka. But I don't look at it like that. I think you should get somebody that puts Saka under pressure. Because to me, Saka's a fantastic player, but he's not a high enough level in world football that he should still turn up at Arsenal every week, guaranteed to be playing. I don't think he should. I really don't think he should. I think he's a fantastic player, but let's be real. He's not Thierry Henry. He's not Robin van Persie. He's not Cesc Fabregas. Like, he still should be turning up every week thinking, I've got to do the business here. I could be under pressure if I have a bad run of form. City had Sané and Mahrez. Leroy Sané and Mahrez. They had Raheem Sterling. They had Bernardo Silva. I think you've got to have genuine competition. Saka should still be turning up thinking, if I have 2 or 3 bad games, I'm getting dropped. Justin said Neto ripped City and Liverpool early last season before the injury, 100%. Swap with Fabio, there are a lot of Portuguese there, yeah, maybe. One of Smith Rowe, Nelson and Ketia the other way feels possible, yeah. I wouldn't mind that. What are we saying? Neto isn't going to put Saka under pressure. He doesn't score enough and Saka gets more assists. The thing is, bro, we've seen it before where players are decent players at lower clubs. They go to bigger clubs, they become top players. Sadio Mane, as an example, was a live wire at Southampton. He became a superstar at Liverpool. So I get your point. At the moment, he doesn't get those numbers. But the reality is, if Neto went to Arsenal, who's to say he doesn't go up to another level? He looked fantastic the other day when he came on for Portugal. Ultimately, we have to put it into context. The guy plays for Wolves. He plays for Wolves. What player is going to look incredible playing for Wolves, who are, mid-table dons? Wolves finished mid-table, Gary O'Neill. I'm sure Neto goes up to another level. Boston Celtics won with Cruz. He's been rocking that Tatum jersey, but yeah, man, Boston Celtics, I've never been the biggest fan of Boston Celtics, but hey, fair play to them. They've been head and shoulders above every team in the NBA this season. So, yeah, listen, we'll leave it there. But as I said, we all know that Arsenal could do with a right winger. Doesn't look like we're going to get Elise. Doesn't look like we're going to even go in for Mohamed Kudus. The options are getting limited, and this is what I keep saying to people. I've said a number of times, Arsenal should sign Ivan Toney. A lot of people push back and say, nah, I don't think Tony's good enough, or we can go for someone else, get someone better. I say, that's fine. We're not going to buy Isak this summer. It doesn't look at the moment like we're going to pay the Osimhen release clause. Gyökeres links have completely disappeared, plus he's had an operation on his knee, he's out for 6 weeks, and we've missed out on Sesko. So if you remove all of them, what striker are we genuinely going to go for? Will we even go for a striker? So I think with Arsenal, sometimes we have this mindset that, the market is wide open and we can go and get the very best available in each position, which I wish we thought like that. But Arsenal don't tend to think like that. It's not a case of, can we get Isak or Osimhen? It's probably a case of we might not even buy a striker. So I would rather sign Ivan Toney than not buy a striker. And I think Neto would still be a fantastic signing. Havertz yesterday, and I don't want to make a harsh judgment based on one game, but he was very poor yesterday. Now, in the first game, he played all right, but Scotland were terrible. Yesterday, he didn't play well. He got dragged. Fulkrug came on. Havertz he needs to play well in the next game before the pressure starts going on. Curtis, did you see the Toney and Rice bromance? Bro, all the pictures, all the Instagrams, Rice is all up in Ivan Toney's comments. Toney's all on Declan Rice. Yo, bro, my bro, love hearts. Deckers, get the deal done. I'm telling you, people. Toney to Arsenal makes sense. That guy will score goals. He's a finisher. He's strong. He's good in the air. He's got the ego, the arrogance. And I think he would help our wingers. I think he would take some of the pressure off Saka and Martinelli. How are you feeling about Jamaica going to do in the Copa America? I think they're going to do all right. I have to admit, it's a shame that Leon Bailey didn't, accept the call up. But I think they'll do all right. I think they can get out the groups, and then who knows when you get to the knockouts. But it's a shame Leon Bailey's not playing. He's a bit of a difference maker, of course. Cope said holiday settings. Big up Curtis and the C Unit. Big up everyone who's on holiday. Big up everyone who's relaxing. Even if you're just at home, chilling, sun's out, whatever. We're nice and relaxed. We're talking transfers. I'm sorting out holidays myself, people. So over the next week or so, a lot of the content may be pre-recorded. It is my birthday, actually, on Monday. So I'm sorting out a holiday. So yeah, the watch-alongs and live content may dampen for a few days as we, we got to go and see them palm trees and that, people. You know what I mean? Can't have this English weather all the time. 1 minute it's sunny, the next minute it's cold. We don't know where we're at. 12th man said, big up Big C. Arsenal refused to have two quality players in the same position. Big teams don't behave like this. Somebody said yesterday, we're talking about Mark Guy from Crystal Palace. Somebody said, why would Arsenal spend 50 million on a centre-back that isn't going to play every week? It's not a priority. And I was like, bro, you do know Man City, had Nathan Ake on the bench at times, or Vardiol on the bench. You know, Vardiol cost 75 million. Ake cost 45 million. Jack Grealish was on the bench most of last season, or injured or something like that. Jack Grealish cost 100 million. We need to get out of this mentality that we can't buy a player for 50 million and bench him. No disrespect, I would bench Havertz next season. That's not to say he wouldn't get game time, but he would predominantly be on the bench because I would sign a top quality striker that scores more goals and I would bench Havertz. So I think they're the levels we got to get to. That's an Arsenal mentality. It's an Arsene Wenger mentality that he started. We don't spend big on squad players and so on and so forth. You know, we can't have 50. No, you can buy £50 million players and put them on the bench. It's as simple as that. That's how big clubs operate, people. Do you know what I mean? So we need to get in that mindset. 50 million. I want to see, if Jesus doesn't get sold, bench next season. £45 million he cost. Havertz, probably bench if we get a new striker. So yeah, I've got no problem with £50 million players being on the bench. None whatsoever. It happens at all these top clubs. It's a mentality that we need to change. We can definitely put £50 million players on the bench. That's the level that we're required to get to go and catch Manchester City. They've got multiple players on the bench who cost 50 million. So Wenger brought that low mentality. He did. And people forget, when we won the league, and I know I'm doing History Channel again, Bergkamp and Henry, Carnu and Wiltord. Wiltord was a Euros winner. Carnu was an outstanding player. We had Edu on the bench, Brazilian international. We had top quality players. Somebody just said it there. Man United had Cole and York, and then Sheringham and Solskjaer on the bench. You know, City, look at Alvarez. Won the World Cup for Argentina. Man's sitting on the bench. He's sitting on the bench at Man City. So we need to lift the level at the top. And then, you know, some of those players in the team will drop to the bench. Apparently, Arsenal will be busy in the market starting next week. I hope so. En route said, Curtis, my best mate's dad works in the Hyatt Hotel in London. It's popular for ballers and rappers. He said 2 days ago, ESR was in the top floor with his mates drinking till he's drunk until 5. Listen, I'm not going to vilify a guy because he got drunk during the off-season. They're human beings. You know, he's had his season. He went Jamaica. They're allowed to do that. It's summer. They got a lot of money. No problem if he's in a hotel getting drunk. I have no problem with that. Just come back for pre-season ready to go, bro. So, yeah, fair play to him, man. You know, players are allowed to enjoy themselves. What would we all be doing if we was, Smith Rowe's 22, 100 grand a week? I ask everyone in the comments. What would you be doing at 22 years of age on £100,000 a week? Professional footballer at the age of 22. Stuff would be happening. You know what I mean? You would be really partying. So fair play. Enjoy yourself, man. After school is after. You know what I'm saying, bro? You do what you want after school. So I have no problem with that. 22 years of age, 100 grand a week in my pocket. Exactly, bro. No comment. Some of us would be in big trouble. You know what I mean? You give me 100 grand a week at 22, there'd be problems. As long as he doesn't come back like Willian overweight. Well, I always say the best thing about the fact Willian at Arsenal, the best thing about him at Arsenal was that he played for us during lockdown. So I never actually saw this guy play live in a stadium. So as far as I'm concerned, it never happened. It never happened. I'd be on a yacht in the Mediterranean. Yeah, man. Listen, let him enjoy himself, man. Let him enjoy himself. Listen, let's move on. So, Euros last night. I kid you not, people. I'm about to write a tweet last night. Scotland game's on. I'm like, Tierney looks decent. Left centre-back, drifting to the left. I'm about to tweet. One more year, Kieran Tierney. I've seen enough. He's a better defender than Zinni. He's better than Kivior. You know, we don't know if Timber is going to be fully fit. One more year, Kieran Tierney. And then Kieran Tierney, as Keros says. He does what Kieran Tierney. They said stronger than a Tesco bag. And them bags ain't great, by the way. You put too much heavy stuff in them bags, they will fall out as you leave the store. But I'll be real, he ain't even stronger than them Tesco bags. Luckily, I didn't post the tweet. I deleted the tweet. And I said, sell his clot. It's sad, innit, people? I was literally about to defend the guy and say, yo, one more year, Kieran Tierney. And then Kieran Tierney done his hamstring, left the pitch in tears. I'll be honest, I really feel sorry for the guy. Number one, because I think he's a very talented footballer. I think he could have had a big future and career at Arsenal. However, that game last night told you everything you need to know about Kieran Tierney. Playing well, shall we keep him? Gets injured, get rid of him. Arsenal have to start being ruthless when it comes to things like this. And he's got to go. And unfortunately, this is why, if he does go, you're talking about 10, 12, 14 million pounds for him. Because no one with any sense is going to pump a lot of money into that deal. You know, it's sad. It's sad. Listen, maybe he goes back to Celtic or someone like that, but his wages are massive. So, man said cookie bones in her. No, it's sad. It is sad, but he's got to go. Got to go. 120 grand a week. Got to go. And apparently he's done his hamstring. He's going to miss at least the next game of the Euros. And that's if they get through. So, get rid of Zinni, though. Listen, I ain't got no problem with Zinni going. I've said that. We did buy, sell, loan, and Zinni was in the sell category for me. I'm more than willing to cash in on Zinni. We'll be looking to get 10 million now. Yeah, his value has completely disappeared. No one with any sense would pay big money for Kieran Tierney. It's crazy. Tavares can cover for us. Nah, not with Win the Dog around, bro. Not with Win the Dog at the training ground. Tavares is dangerous. We'll get a packet of Walkers for him, if that. I don't know about anybody else. When we were kids, right, and I don't know if anybody else did this, when you had a multi-pack of crisps, you ate all the good flavours, then you ended up with the ready salted, which were boring. And I used to, like, put sauce on them ones just to try and, you know, get some better flavour in them. Like, for him right now, you're probably getting ready salted crisps. I don't even think somebody would give you a packet with flavour. You would get a packet of ready salted for Kieran Tierney right now because, boy, Donny can't get through a season, not even half a season. Man's injured every minute. But listen, it's one of them. All the best selling him. I'm not even sure somebody will buy him. Wouldn't surprise me if he's on loan at Celtic next season. I think that's where he maybe ends up. It's crazy how the fan... But no, listen, I want to make this abundantly clear, OGD. From my point of view, I can't speak for everyone. I have no hate for Zinchenko. I'm actually quite calm about Zinchenko. I often say, oh, is that Sesko? Sesko, sitter. 8 yards out, goalkeeper on the floor, 2 defenders on the line, puts it wide. I told you, man, Benjamin Sesko. They didn't believe me when I said this guy ain't the answer. I mean, listen, I don't want to completely write him off because he missed a big chance, but look at that. Touch. Misses the target. Benjamin Sesko, man, every little helps. In terms of Zinchenko, I've always said the guy ain't a left-back, he ain't a defender. Just because he won a title at left-back for Man City does not mean the guy is a top-quality left-back. He's a natural centre midfielder who Pep played at left-back because Mendy was on all kinds of charges. that he got found not guilty of. But he just did a job. The same way Fabian Delph played left back and won a league. You don't sign Fabian Delph and put him at left back. It's a Man City thing. Pep could probably put Bernardo Silva at left back and win the Premier League because they keep the ball too much, so they don't have to defend. Zinni, to me, first season was really good. Second season, he got exposed defensively. I'm not angry with him. I said play him in midfield or sell him. There's no hate towards him for me. I think he could be a decent midfielder. Playing him, if you're going to use him as a left back, you might as well sell him because he's not a good left back at all. He doesn't even look like he wants to defend. David said games, injuries, keep Jesus, get Eze plus Tony. Jesus, oh mate, I don't think he's going. But listen, Eze and Tony would be brilliant signings. And you just know Arsenal won't sign any of them because they make too much sense. If it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. Rouet said ESR been enjoying himself too much. If I was in his position, hit the gym, start conditioning early, especially after the season he didn't have. And I hear you on that. But listen, we don't know. Maybe he's hammering the gym in the daytime and at night he has the odd night out. Who knows? I don't want to be too critical of him. A rumour that I've seen today, and I'm going to be honest, if this happens, I'll go on gardening leave. I'll have to come off this channel for a few days. Arsenal have been linked today. I don't even want to bring this one on the screen because this one bothers me. With this man. Conor Gallagher. Now, some of you might not view him the way I view him. So that might not be, that one might not bother you as much as it bothers me. But all I can say, please stop going in the Chelsea recycling bin. I've had enough. If we sign Conor Gallagher, I'm going to have to consider my options. Honestly. I'm going to, we may have to turn this into an NBA channel. We may have to. I like NBA, LeBron, couple years. He's going to play with Bronny James probably next year. If we sign this guy, I will be fuming because I don't like him as a player. And I've actually been public about the fact I don't rate him. So how am I going to somehow turn that around if we sign him? Arsenal are reportedly keen on signing Chelsea's England international midfielder, Conor Gallagher. With Arsenal set to sell a number of British players this summer, Conor Gallagher could be seen as an alternative, with Chelsea willing to sell for £42 million this summer. He's also been linked with a move to Tottenham, although Gallagher would prefer to go to a Champions League club. Chelsea could be forced to sell for profit and sustainability, with a homegrown player going down as pure profit. This is part of the reason that Mauricio Pochettino walked away. This is according to AS in London, who have also linked AS in Spain, who have also linked Gallagher with a move to Atletico Madrid. I'm telling you now, if we sign this guy, somebody needs to get their P45. And I always say I'll give players a chance if we sign them, but I'm sorry. If we go to Chelsea again and you pick this guy, and you know the worrying thing, people, I mean, Kai says squad depth. Bro, I haven't even read the full article because it's causing me genuine pain to read it. My eyes are stinging. It says he could be paired next to England international Declan Rice in the double pivot. So this could be Partey on the bench or Partey sold and you sign Gallagher. I'm sorry. Honestly, imagine letting Partey go and signing Conor Gallagher. Like, you're getting worse. And I know Conor Gallagher plays a lot more football than Partey. I do not want this guy anywhere near Arsenal. Stop going to Chelsea and rummaging through the recycling bin to see if there's anything there. I'm sick of it. The Havertz one just about, sort of worked out. Don't sleep on the fact the first half of the season he stunk out the place. Second half of the season was a rescue mission, right? Don't get me wrong. There's a couple players at Chelsea that I would potentially take in a rescue mission. It ain't this guy. It ain't Conor Gallagher. He's a B-Tech like Jordan Henderson who just runs around a lot. Man said I would take him all day long. J-Hub, bro, I don't know. You might need a timeout. I need an explanation. And you know what? I'm not one of these channels where if I've got an opinion, everyone's got to agree. Is there anybody in the channel that would genuinely take Conor Gallagher? Give me your reasons. And I have to say, the story does not say anything about squad depth. They're talking about signing him and starting him. Taking him all day long as well. Someone give me an explanation. Maybe I'm not seeing something in the guy's game. And I'm scared because it feels like a deal that Arsenal would do for some crazy reason. Because Chelsea I genuinely think Chelsea might have borrowed us money years ago and got us out of debt or something. Because why do we keep going to Chelsea? Sakin said he can't pass, can't shoot, can't beat a man. He lacks pace, zero technical ability, just runs around getting stuck in. No Diddy, by the way. But yeah. He's a B-Tech Jordan Henderson, bro. He's a B-Tech Jordan Henderson. Why would Arsenal... I really hope this is made up, but I remember when the Havertz story came out, I said, nah, never. That's made up. 2 weeks later, he's holding up an Arsenal shirt, so I have to be careful. What did he do last season? 5 goals, 7 assists, 37 games, 8 yellow cards, 1 red. No, not for me. Rice scored more than him, and Rice played in the 6 role most of the season. Conor John Gallagher, 24 years of age. I don't want nothing to do with this B-Tech Henderson. Don said I would take Gallagher in a heartbeat. He's a better version of Aaron Ramsey. We need some red stripe! Broski! A better version of Rambo. You see how many goals Rambo was scoring them couple of years, bro? 25-yard rockets, cup finals. Gallagher ain't better than Ramsey, bro. You're mad. Just a workhorse. Let him go Tottenham or someone. Don, what's going... I know the sun's out, my brother. But come on, man. A better version of Ramsey. Based on what? My man's got 5 goals last season. Ramsey was scoring 30-yarders in the Champions League on his left foot. Was scoring FA Cup final winners, bro. He ain't on Ramsey's level. Ramsey went Juve for like 300 bags a week. Nah, man. Listen, he's not a terrible footballer. As a meaty squad player that's going to run around a lot and work hard, cool. But, all right, let's change the poll. Because I can't... maybe I'm seeing it wrong. I think he stinks. Genuinely, I think he stinks. He's a workhorse. I don't want nothing to do with him. But I'm going to change the poll. Let's end that first poll. More polls than an ATL strip club. 74% say you would take Pedro Neto. I can't believe we're going to a poll, but even writing this hurts me. Would you sign Gallagher? Oh, my days. I'd rather sign Noel Gallagher from Oasis. Would you sign Gallagher from Chelsea for 40 mil? 42 mil, it said, actually. 42 mil. And I don't want to influence anyone. If you rate him, just tell me why. Because maybe I've misjudged him. Every time I see him, he just runs around a lot. I don't think he's that technically great. I just don't rate him. I think he's a meaty player. I'd take for 30 mil or less. I would have Gallagher, but better than Ramsey is Brazy. The thing is, what I need to question is, if we sign him, he's going to want to start. Are you happy with Gallagher starting next to Rice? Like, do you think that's enough? Where is E. Ross? Yeah, E. Ross hasn't been about for a while as well. I'm assuming guys are on holiday and girls are on holiday, man. So don't look back in anger. I've heard you say. Honestly, I'd rather have Noel Gallagher than midfield. He's Palace kind of level, says Vic. Run around and fouls people. He is the equivalent of an English passion merchant. Why do you think most managers play him? Yeah, Chelsea managers who get sacked. Lampard played him because he brought him through. Potter played him because he liked him. And Poch played him. And they all got sacked and they all won nothing. So I ain't even looking at those guys, what they did. But anyway, I'll leave the poll there. I think you will love him in 6 months. I won't, bro. I won't. I will not. I'd give him a chance if we signed him, but I'd be in an emotional state for a little while. Declan said, rather pay 42 million on Wharton, left-footed, good passer, wins that. I would as well. I would. Would Pep or Carlo buy Gallagher? Not a chance. Not a chance, would they? Not a chance. Charles said, I don't rate him. Just take a look at who we've been linked in that midfield. They're all characterised with strength and work rates. That is why. Yeah, that's true. But then Rice is so good at that. Do we need a midfielder like that? I think we need somebody that can say, listen, give me the ball. I'm going to make something happen. Or we get a beast who then pushes Declan Rice further forward. Big up my bro Akeem. We have to ask ourselves, with every major signing, can they potentially play in the City team? If not, bin them. Anyone think Gallagher gets near that City team? I don't think he gets anywhere near them. Pep brought Calvin Phillips. I'll be honest. I'm going to keep it 100. Euro 2020 that I think we played in 2021 in England, I actually think Calvin Phillips played better for England than Declan Rice in that tournament. I'm not even capping. Phillips was balling in that tournament for England, and he'd had a great season at Leeds. So I actually think Phillips was really like balling at the time. The City move was the wrong move, but he was playing like, I was saying, yo, he looks like he's got more on the ball than Rice. Rice looked like the workhorse. Phillips was playing. So I think Phillips was playing at a higher level then than what we've seen of Gallagher at Chelsea. But I'll leave the poll there. I'm always open to a good debate, people. You know, if you guys rate him, fair enough. Give me a comment. Would you like him at Arsenal? I definitely wouldn't. Thermal said Arteta and Edu P45 if this happens. Bro. And I did say, right, if we let the likes of Nelson go and Ketty or Ramsdale or maybe Smith Rowe, we're going to need to sign 1 or 2 English players to balance the quota. Another reason I said sign Ivan Toney. Don't sign this guy. Ramsey carried us during Bant era. Stop it, Don. I agree, White Glove. Well, partly carried us. That one season particularly was unplayable. Undercover agents in the chat trying to stitch us up. Why always me said Ramsey was our McTominay ram sauce. Nah, he was better than McTominay, man. McTominay's like not even a McChicken sandwich. He's like what's the 99p one, man? That's not the, you know what I mean? The not as good version. You got the McChicken sandwich. What's the 99p one? I can't remember. I haven't been McDonald's for ages, but I know there's a cheaper version. He's that. He ain't the McChicken sandwich. He's that 99p one. It's probably not even real chicken. Ramsey was a genuine burger from McDonald's. He was probably a double cheeseburger. Mayo chicken. There you go. He was a mayo chicken. That's probably not even real chicken. You can't compare McTominay to Rambo, fam. Rambo was having legendary seasons. Gallagher or Danielson, bro, you do realise you are scraping the barrel there, Don. Danielson used to go out clubbing the night before Champions League games. He played like he was nowhere near from Brazil. Yeah, he might win that one. He might. I mean, and John Leah. Hey, John, defend your boy. He's coming for your boy, Danielson. It's close. I'm telling you, he ain't much better if he is better. But anyway, I respect people's opinions. But nah, I'm not. You can't compare Ramsey to McTominay. McTominay's a meaty player, fam. Ramsey had a few good years at Arsenal where he was, he was at it. I think he nearly scored 20 goals one year. But, yeah, listen, it's good discussion. It is good discussion. I don't want this guy anywhere near the football club. Keep him at Chelsea. And, but it worries me. I'm always honest with you, people. Gallagher for 42 million stinks of Arsenal signing him. We sell 2 or 3 English players and we go and buy another Chelsea player. He's English. 42 million. Oh, please, no. Please. I would genuinely be devastated if we sign Conor Gallagher. But maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe I've got it wrong. I don't rate him at all. Let me see this. Jitesh said, I was warming up my dinner in the microwave until you brought up Conor Gallagher. Then I lost my appetite. Put it back in the fridge, bro. 76% of you say no to Conor Gallagher. 24% say yes. Thank you. Although it means nothing. You guys don't want him, but Arsenal probably go and sign him. We love a Chelsea reject, don't we? Right, let's move on. Couple more stories, then we'll round up, people. It is a quiet news day, I'm going to be honest. Let's talk about Amadou Onana. Did any of you guys see the video of Onana? Where all of a sudden, man breaks out into an English accent. He's speaking like French. And some guy's like, Andre. And he's like, my name's not Andre, mate. My name's Amadou. And I'm like, bro, it didn't even sound real. It sounded like someone dubbed his voice. Like, I said, raw. What kind of accent is that? But Keith Wyness, who was the Everton chief executive, said, my name's not Andre, mate. He said, Amadou Onana is one who I think will go. I believe from my sources there is interest from Arsenal. That's something which could materialise. I've heard certainly that negotiations are ongoing. I thought it was AI in that interview as well, I got to be honest. It's an interesting one. It is interesting. I have said before that I like the fact that this guy is beast mode. 6'5", a bit of an animal. Him and Rice would be powerful. I just wonder whether he's a good enough footballer. But then again, it's hard to judge him because he's playing for Everton. And Sean Dyche, I mean, listen, you play for me, mate. You'll never touch the ball anyway. 95% of the time, the ball's in the air, mate. You know what I mean? Get it to Tarkowski. Smash it as far as you can. Calvert-Lewin wins the flick on. Not too many flick-ons. He'll be injured. You know, he's already chipped a toenail. And that's it, mate. We're just going to fight people. We eat bricks, we eat wood, we eat concrete. I'm going to drink some diesel. So there you go, mate. That's your insight from Sean Dyche. The ball's never on the floor anyway. But I suppose, okay, this is where I'm looking at it. I want a player that is better than the current Thomas Partey. Because if Partey goes, surely you spend 50 million, the replacement should be better. I don't think he's better than Partey. I know Partey is injury prone, so I understand it. We'd be letting Partey go not because of ability, because of availability. But I just don't know with this guy. I don't know. If you play Rice in the 6, is Onana going to get forward and affect the game in an attacking sense? I'm not sure. If you play him in the 6 and push Rice forward, we're not direct. We play through the midfield. Can he get the ball on the half turn, on the edge of his penalty area and just play out comfortably? Is he good enough to do that? I might be misjudging him. I like his power, you know, and the fact he's 6'5", and but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, to be honest, at 50 million. Like Trav said, Fofana would cost you half the price. And then could you go for someone else? He wouldn't be at the top of my list, but if we got him, I'd dress it up as a positive signing shamelessly. I like the power, but is there enough quality on the ball? That's where I'm a little bit doubtful, but we'd have to see. We'd have to see. But I personally think Arsenal are genuinely interested in Onana. I think this is a real link. We've been linked with him before. Seemed like Everton had no interest letting him go. And I think with this financial issue, it looked like Branthwaite was going to go to Manchester United, but they've walked away because they were asking for 70, 80 million. Onana at 50 is a very doable option for Arsenal. And I actually think this is a strong possibility of happening. What I will say on the other side, I don't want to make out like I'm completely writing the guy off. He's 6'5", he's 22 years of age, he's got Premier League experience, doesn't get injured a lot. He played very well against Arsenal last season. And I suppose you look at him and you say, it might not be where he is now, it's where he's capable of going. How high is the ceiling for Onana? Can he become a top quality midfielder? He's only 22. If you coach him, you put him in a better team, does he become a better player? So if you were adding him to Partey and Rice and Jorginho, I would probably say that's a good signing. If you're selling Partey and bringing him in as the main centre mid to play next to Rice, I'm a bit like, I don't know about that. It's because of the style of football that makes me question him. I don't dislike him as a player. I actually think he's a good player. It's we're a bit of a B-Tech Man City. It's all possession. I don't know if he can play like that, but maybe if we get him, he can. Technically, he's like Lukaku, says Don. Witt said, facts, I feel the same way. BX said, Onana will be a great addition to our squad. And Sakin said, Onana does not have the sharp progressive passing ability of Partey, which is the key ingredient needed to start attacks. And Shaq says, true. And Thermal said, technically, he ain't it. And Young Gunner said, Big C, finally catching you live. RIP to Super Kev all day, bro. Big up for tuning in. Like I said, we are going to do things for Kev. We'll do a show at some stage. And we'll definitely try and do something else a little bit more long-lasting as well. I've been speaking to people who are close to his family, so we're going to try and get something done. Just finally, final story of the day, people. Bruno Guimaraes, again, being linked with a move to Arsenal today. Just for people asking, I am streaming the England game. I'll be live at 4:40 p.m, people. Oh, I haven't even listed that, have I? What am I doing? Yeah. I will be live at 4:40 p.m. for England against Denmark. I will list that as soon as I come off here, people. Bruno Guimaraes. Arsenal could look to make a player plus cash offer for Newcastle midfielder Bruno Guimaraes. Now, the story is saying Arsenal could offer Emile Smith-Rowe or Aaron Ramsdale. Now, it did look as if Newcastle were going to sign James Trafford from Burnley. Their first offer was rejected, I think around £14 million. Burnley have asked for 20 million. Now, it's whether Newcastle go back and make that offer or not. Do Newcastle think for 20, 25, 30 million they could get Ramsdale? So maybe the Trafford deal collapse into Newcastle brings them back into the fold for a deal for Aaron Ramsdale. So the story said Arsenal could offer 60 million plus Ramsdale or Emile Smith-Rowe. Would you guys pay 60 plus one of those players for Bruno Guimaraes? I like Bruno. When they were talking about 100 million, I said, nah, he ain't worth that. But for 60 plus Ramsdale, I would do that deal. I got to be honest, Ramsdale's sitting on our bench doing absolutely nothing. You know, I would pay 60 million plus Ramsdale for Bruno all day long. He's a bit nasty, and I think we need that. Like I said, when we played them at St. James's, some of the top gooners were crying online. Oh, he's so dirty. Look at how he's kicking Jorginho. I was sitting there thinking I'd love him in our team. Somebody should have kicked him back. But no one in our team wanted that smoke. They let him just bully us in midfield. Bruno and Declan Rice. That's the kind of midfield I'm talking about. Declan Rice, Bruno Guimaraes and Odegaard. Now you're talking. Not Conor Gallagher, people. Not Conor Gallagher. It's funny, isn't it? Arsenal never buy the player from the club that we want. For years we wanted Basuma. We went to Brighton and bought Ben White. Now, it did work out in the end. Now every Arsenal fan wants Isak. We'll probably go and sign Bruno, although I would take Bruno. I think that midfield would be outstanding. Rice, Bruno and Odegaard. When you look at Man City now, Bernardo pushing 30, Kevin De Bruyne in his 30s, Rodri's still an absolute top player. They're all top players, but age-wise, the mobility will start dropping with those guys. So this is the kind of deal we need to do. How true it is, I don't know. Again, it's coming from Football Transfers. It's not a great source. So I think these quiet news days are difficult for these transfer sources to find things. So anyway, Bruno would be a fantastic signing. I think we can all agree on that, people. Get Szczesny on a free. Looks like he's on his way to Saudi for big money as well. Bruno is Part A level, not Connor. I agree with that. He's got a nasty streak as well, which is why I would take him, because I still think we're a little bit, a little bit tame at times. Keep ESR at all costs, said Harlex. For me, I would only let him go if you're getting a big upgrade on him, like Eze or someone. Jay Black said, I'm on the road travelling. Instead of music, I'm streaming Big C for the boys. Big up Jay Black. Big up all the man them. I'm out of here, people. So sorry to end the show. You can get some music on now. But I will be back in an hour and 40 minutes for England against Denmark. I haven't listed it. I will list it as soon as I come off. Somebody just said there's some Gyökeres news on Twitter. Let me check. Ooh, hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. If you ever watch Friday After Next, you're right there with me. If you haven't, you're thinking, what the hell is he talking about? Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I don't know how good a source this is. Arsenal are very close to signing Victor Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon, with only the financial details holding up the transfer. This is from some guy with 5,000 followers. I mean, I don't know. Do you know what? It would be interesting because Arsenal, over the last few years, have just announced transfers and we've gone very quiet on Gyökeres. So I wonder if Arsenal are going to throw a curveball. We're looking at Isak and Osimhen thinking, and they just go, bam, Gyökeres, deal done. I want us to get a striker. I hope this is real. I'm ready to do that celebration. So we'll see. Again, I don't know how good a source it is. Jorge said, get me a striker. Oba Alexis level equals silverware. I agree. Gyökeres, 30 goals last year for Sporting Lisbon. Let's hope there's some truth in that. We need a striker. So we'll see. If anything happens, I'll go live straight away, people. People, I'm out of here. Hit the like button, subscribe. Over 1,500 of you in the chat. Appreciate your support. I'll see you in an hour and 40 minutes for England against Denmark. Watch along. Take care, everyone. Bless.